Hi guys, Ronda Winstead here with you. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are doing fabulously. I am super happy to be here with you today. Okay, so this is normally my Journal with Me Sunday video, which I have not been good about doing. And I'll explain a little bit more about that, but we are going to make together, I hope that you will join me, I'm going to make a small Midori style, meaning all that means is that it has elastic binding. Your signatures are put in with elastic, which makes them wonderfully able to take your little booklets out to journal in. Okay? So that is what we're going to do, and I will show you about all of this. Okay, so by the way, this is me when I was 5 years old. It was my kindergarten picture, and I didn't know how I was supposed to look. No one had taught me. You know, the photographer says smile, and I was trying to make a really nice little smile. And my mother, it was one of her favorite pictures of me because it looked like I was going to cry. And I really wasn't, but I was just trying to be like, oh. And I look at it now and I'm like, it does look like I'm ready to cry. Okay, so hopefully you have scraps. Of course you have scraps. Get them out, because that is what this cover is made of. It is just scraps on top of scraps on top of scraps that we have glued on. Then I have stitched it together. You don't have to. You can just glue. Then I have Mod Podged it and then, finished it off. And I have stitched a cloth little binding on here, but you don't have to do that either. You can keep it as simple as you want. You will need some elastic thread. I have picked mine up normally in Joann's here in the U.S. That's a fairly common craft store. But anyway, you need something stretchy to be able to, this is what you're going to attach your signatures to make them work. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to measure. Hello, let's measure to see how much we need. So this is, we'll say 11 inches. It's not quite, but it's very close. 11 inches, and we'll say by 7 inches. 11 inches wide and 7 inches tall. Okay? So mark that measurement down. So 11 inches by... So I am just going to start with a very cheap, ordinary piece of paper. And this is 11 inches long by 8.5. And so I want to take 7. So I want to take 1.5 inches off. And that will give me, where's my paper? Mark yours, cut it, put it in, your Fiskars cutter, whatever. I use my rotary cutter a lot. Okay, so this is my base, and we're just going to build this up. Make sure you have a good glue stick. And in places you will probably want, let's see, let me get a glue book page. I'm going to keep it this way so that I just layer my papers on. Just start layering. And as we glue down, then I will visit with you. So, yeah. So now it's just a matter of gluing down. And I made my booklet, or, you know, I'm making it just a little bit bigger than what I'm going to need so I can cut it down. Excuse me. Okay, so I've just got all of these weird thises and that's, cut-offs from other projects, things that just, you know, I don't know. One thing you will need to take into account when you're doing your cover this way is keep in mind if there are some things that are especially fun or attractive that you want to make sure is shown, you know, towards the end, then don't put them down immediately. Glue other things down first. Like this, for instance. Let's see. That was ripped. So, yeah. Because when you're doing something like this, you're doing several layers. And you definitely are going to lose some of those layers you're going to be building on top of, and those early ones most likely are going to be covered up. So keep that in mind when you're doing your layering. And I'm not being terribly, you know, particular about this. I'm just trying to get some things down. This is what I'm look at this. It's terrible, you guys. I have feelings of guilt when I get to this point. It's just like, oh, come on, Rhonda. You've got to do something. In fact, what I even have started doing, which I don't know how long it will take me because I just only do it when I'm in that mood. But that is, I'm gathering some of my scraps and whatnot. Going to put them, I'm going to give them away. I'm gathering a bunch, and then I'm thinking that what I will do at some point in my Facebook group, I will be offering some kind of giveaway in there. Yeah. So, let's just, oh, mercy. Some of these are obviously not going to work well for this kind of thing. Other things will be great. So we are just, first of all, we're making a mess and we're creating more scraps. It's impossible to work on a project and not create scraps. I don't know. If any of you have figured out how, that would be worth a lot. I just have not figured out how to do that yet. I suppose what you could do is you could, well, that probably wouldn't work either. Because the reality is, say you're giving it away to someone, well, yes, you could include the scraps that you create, but number one, would the person that you're giving it to understand what that's all about? Would they even appreciate it? And or if you're selling it, maybe that makes a little more sense to me. But I don't know. That's just not something that I think everybody is like, yay, I get your scraps. You know what I mean? It's like, what do I do with this? What are you giving me your junk for? Keep your own junk. You know, it's like, oh, well, you know, I just thought of you. Oh, yes. You're working with scraps and junk and you think of me. How pleased am I? Oh, crazy stuff. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit, you guys, about my journal with me. The fiasco of it all. I don't honestly know what is going on in my brain that's making it super, super difficult for me to, let's see, I'm going to, maybe not. Where are my scissors? I'm going to cut this little bit off. I have struggled with the journaling part. I am so what's the word? I really, really respect those of you that are doing journaling daily or weekly or, you know, whatever it might be. I just really admire that. And that do journaling, you know, that do your videos on that. And that's one of the things that I mentioned of things that I wanted to do this year. And one of the reasons was to, you know, to do mine more regularly. That the thought process was that if I do it with you, my dear, dear friends, then it would be easier to do. And the reality is, it isn't any easier. I'm sorry, but it isn't. I'm finding, in fact, and maybe this is sharing too much with you, but I am finding, and I don't know if it's my birth sign. I don't know if I really believe any of that stuff with the zodiac or not. I don't know. I mean, I believe in God and a higher power and that kind of thing. But the signs, and I find astrology interesting and fun, but I don't know that I think it's, wow, yeah, you know, right on everything. But I do find it interesting that on our signs, and maybe it would be this way with anything, I don't know, but that there are some things that do seem to be linked, or at least traits. And my sign is Aquarius. And I find the Aquarians don't like appointments. We don't like to be tied down to hard givens. We kind of like to fly by the seat of our pants, so to speak. And while I'm not a completely fly by the seat of your pants kind of girl, I do get stressed with appointments. I find the more appointments that I have, the more frustrated I can become, the less peaceful, and there's a part of me, it's just really weird. It's just not a nice thing. But in all honesty, you guys, there's a part of me that's like, if someone tells me, well, you have to do this, or you have to do that, you know, and there's a history behind that. I won't go into detail, but that was a part of some parts of my history of being told you have to this and have to that. And you had severe consequences if you didn't. But I don't know if it's that or if it's just part of my sign that we don't like to be stuck to certain appointments and givens and that kind of stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm being honest with you, but I haven't figured out how to make the journal with me work to where I'm just thrilled. I've enjoyed those sessions, and I have certainly enjoyed making those pages, and especially with you there. But when it comes to actually planning it and the idea of doing it, it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Okay, my darlings. I am going to stop for a minute here. I need to, I got a message. I need to respond back to it, but I shall return. Okay, I am back. That was very short. One of our sons, well, the one that lives here in Jonesboro, he and his wife and daughter, they just got back from a little spring break trip, so they're going to stop by and get their mail and visit for a little bit, and we'll catch up and see what fun they had on their trip. Okay. So that'll be super fun. Oh, funniest thing, my granddaughter, she texted yesterday, I think it was, and she texted they were obviously in an antique mall. My daughter-in-law, which is wonderful, she also loves to go antiquing, and she anyway, so they do that fairly often, or at least when they can, and she's on vacation, right? So that's a fun thing for her to do. So anyway, Kira texted me this picture of a booth that had old books in it, and they all know that Grandma's a sucker for old books. And so she's like, wish you were here. And I texted back and said, oh, me too, sweetie. Do me a favor and pet the books for me. And she sent back a little short video of her petting the books. Which I thought was so cute. It was like, oh, such a cutie pie. I have just amazing kids and grandkids and just love them all so very much. Life's not perfect with all of them, but I just still love them. Okay. So as you can see, this is what we're doing. I am just taking scraps, literally, which I think we'll do the other one. And I am just building up layers. So I would appreciate opinions, guys. I mean, obviously, I'm going to do what I feel prompted to do, but you know how they say sometimes inspiration is based on information. And so if you have specific ideas of things that have worked for you, maybe you could share some of those to see if something might click for me with my journaling. Maybe I'm just being trying to make it too, like it's got to be the perfect whatever. It's got to be the this. It's got to be the that. And maybe that's the problem, is that nothing is ever the perfect anything. And so I disappoint myself because I don't ever, live up to what I think would be good. I don't know. I think I'm just confusing you. I'm confusing me. But I'm open to ideas. I'm also open to ideas, my dears. Wait, I gotta rub that glue off. I was going to get some wet wipes, but I need to get them in a cheaper place because they were going to be $5. And I was just like, what? I just wet a washcloth for $5. It's like, I don't know. No, of course not. But I would love ideas of maybe even some other things that you would like to see me do of my video watching, with subscribers and whatnot. I will say that my Journal With Me segment is the lowest. I have the fewest views on that. So maybe that's something that, is just not quite as interesting to people. And I certainly, I can appreciate that. Chemical technology. Yeah. I don't think I want chemicals. So now I am just looking for little bits and pieces. This is a little bit and piece from my dear Barbara, 49 Dragonflies, one of her digitals. I love her papers. I'm on her design team. And we'll put a little scrap of that down here. Normally I keep those scraps separately, as I do also with Rachel of Roxy Creations. I'm also on her design team, even though Rachel is hesitant about design teams. Love you, Rachel. And she's not sure what she thinks about the whole thing. So if you happen to watch something that I'm doing that's highlighting Rachel's digitals and you purchase from her, you might give her a heads up and say, hey, Rhonda, that weird old Ronda, she highlighted it and I thought they looked adorable and so I came to buy them. Oh, I love the people that I work with and that I do things for. Oh golly. I just need to be better at many, many things. I am a very, very, very imperfect person. Ask anybody that knows me, and they can tell you a whole list of all of my faults. Sometimes there's a good thing or two thrown in there, thankfully. But, oh, hubby is in the process. I share this with you guys. Okay, that's getting pretty good there. He has felt that he wants to. We had a camcorder years ago that we took videos on, or he did mostly, but he made everybody seasick with his videos. It was like, whoa. And eventually, we sold it or gave it away. I don't even remember that part, really. I had forgotten we ever even had one. But he has felt impressed that he needs to turn those to record them on, put them on, what is it, CDs? Is that the deal? Is that the right lingo? Am I messing up there? Because they're just on little 8-track tapes. No, they're on, yeah, no. They're on little tapes, little cassette tapes, yeah. The 8-track, that was much bigger. Okay. Yeah. And so that's what he has been doing. And I went in there to visit with him about something. And on the screen, I see when our sweet granddaughter Paris was just a few months old, and my daughter Mandy had Sarah, her oldest, was just a baby, and Lance and Amy and Paris and Mandy and Richard and Sarah had come for Christmas that year. Oh, that was so fun. So fun to see these old videos. So yeah, obviously gonna really enjoy that. And I had completely forgotten that we even had them. Wow. We just do, you guys. If we don't keep history in some form or another, we do forget. And it is very wonderful to go back and just, brings up some really sweet, wonderful memories. And I had a lot of hair. I had a lot of hair. It was down past my shoulders and, oh, golly. Oh, And I wasn't skinny, but I was a little bit skinnier. And I was crocheting a baby blanket, and Grandpa was hugging on one of the grandbabies, and we were playing with the other one, and gee, you know, just those wonderful memories that just sometimes can bring you to tears. They're so sweet. Okay. Doing putting the stuff on the doily was bad because it had all these holes in it. So that made that kind of impossible from the very beginning. Okay. So let's see. We're starting to, can you get a feel for the thickness here? So I think I'm going to stop the video right here, my friends, and I will go ahead and finish collaging, and then I shall return. Okay, I think I've got this pretty nice and sturdy. This is pretty good collage going on here. So I think what I want to do on this one is to go ahead and use an image. This is from Rachel of Roxy Creations. This is her pink digital set that I'm taking this beautiful pink rose. Looks like a wild rose. We used to, in one of the places that I lived, there used to be an old abandoned home. It was kind of a country lane that we lived on, and before you got to our home, there was this old abandoned house, and not very big, quite a small home. And there were some beautiful, beautiful, that smelled wonderful, some yellow wild roses. Oh, so amazing. And I don't know why this pink one reminds me of that, but it does. Mom had, she had just up the road from this place on her place. This is, I was married, so it wasn't my home then, but she had these wild pink roses growing on a little creek or ditch that was close by, an irrigation ditch. And they looked very much like this. So this is I think this will be beautiful on here. We will just cut this out. I will put this on, and then I'm going to call that good for this video. It's already been a while, so we'll do more work on it this coming week. Yeah. Just wanted to show you a little bit of what it might look like. Now let's just cut in here around our pretty, pretty roses. Okay. And actually, I don't have to do all this on camera. I am, however, going to continue to cut through. trying to do this quickly so I can finish this video and get it uploaded and combined and MP3'd and then uploaded onto my, you know, all the stuff that has to be done. I think that's going to be really pretty. We will, yeah. Okay. All right, my friends, going to call this good for this video 1 of making this Midori style journal cover. All right. I love you. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. Till next video. Bye now.